$1,600, so like, I know like, it's so down. In the club, poppin' with my niggas. Kodak pop. All love, rockin' on them jiggers. On the money. You ain't talking money, I don't hear you.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of Live in 5, baby. As always, Jay Swish, Gage Ausmus, that's the captain, Gage Ausmus. Folks, thank you for joining us today. We have a college hockey preview show. We have Jake Schmaltz, reoccurring guest, joining the fellas over here at Live in 5. But before we get to that, and we get a State of the Union, what's going on in Grand Forks up at NoDeck, well, we bring you the pre-show, and that is brought to you by Mini Movers and Butter Golf. Mini Movers is the official moving company of Live in 5. Ozzo, I wanted to ask you before we get into it, did you get Mike Schmaltz a quote moving his artwork down to Arizona? Is that something on the back burner? Did you talk to the Fuzz at all this week?
I talked to the Fuzz. I'm waiting to hear from Lisa. Apparently, I don't know if this should be said. Maybe we can cut it, but apparently she's on the brink of retirement. So congrats to Lisa. Unbelievable career. Obviously a genius doctor. But yeah, I was waiting on her to get retired and get things done. And yeah, it looks like they need some stuff brought down to Scottsdale, and the Mini Movers are happy to do it.
Yeah, so they're going to get, Mini Movers is going to give Fuzz and Lisa a quote. Ozzo, a couple clicks now that we're on it. Lisa Schmaltz, her last day was yesterday. She actually had to work overtime into the night to finish off her quote-unquote shift. So she got it done at like 6 in the morning. She told me she took a nap when she got home because she didn't sleep from the night before. She napped from like 6 p.m. to like 11 p.m. and then rolled it over the old graveyard shift, read her last little x-rays in terms of her radiologist department, and then said, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So 33 years with her residency, all in at the University of Madison at the hospital there. So a couple clicks for Lisa. She packed her shit, Ozzo. She is done, and she said, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Mista, get me the fuck out of here. I am done. So congrats to my mom. Awesome. One of the hardest working ladies, if not the hardest working lady I've ever met. So she deserves her flowers. Ozzo, but yes, you are going to get them a quote over at Mini Movers. So hopefully you can get some dialed in. They like their paintings over there. They like their expensive paintings. So I know you guys will handle with care. So if anyone else needs stuff packed, moved, whatever, give the captain a call, text, DM, or get at minimovers.com to get a free quote today. As always, we are brought to you by Butter Golf. Butter Golf is the People's Insider brand over here, lifestyle and apparel brand. So go check that out at butter.golf. Ozzo, our last ad read before we get into the weekend recap, that is brought to you by Gladiator Therapeutics. Are you tired with dealing with chronic aches and pains or neurological conditions? Gladiator Therapeutics offers a revolutionary solution using quantum physics to improve your health. Our devices use patented technology to emit far infrared light, stimulating cellular processes without heat. This can reduce inflammation, speed up healing, and enhance mobility. Clinical trials show impressive results, including a 400% increase in survivability in stem cells, accelerated wound healing up to 68% faster, and significant improvements in Parkinson's disease models. Maybe we should get Brett Favre one of these. Wearable 24/7 without power. Our devices can be a game changer. Visit www.gladiatortherapeutics.com/contact -DRGM to learn more and start your journey to better health today. Ozzo, obviously, we mentioned it right off the top of the chin. We have senior forward number 8, Jake Schmaltz from the UND Fighting Sioux, joining us later in the program. Despite Malt's dial-up like Wi-Fi over there, I don't know what he was working with. I believe it was like 1G they bought at Walmart. I mean, the guy told him after the show, he looked like his face looked like it was like pixelated to a point of a Tetris board. So it looked like we could put them together by a fucking puzzle, but he still sounded good. He was in good spirits. Obviously, it gets a little long up there in terms of the preseason. So those guys are ready to get at it.
Jordo, does Midco have Wi-Fi or anything? There's got to be some type of NIL deal we could get going so these players on the team could have working Wi-Fi, because I'm sure they need to do a lot of homework at home, and I don't know if they can do it with that Wi-Fi they're running over there.
Oh, yeah, we were talking to him, and, you know, I mean, they are of age now, so I think we can say this. But, yeah, it sounded like it was maybe next to the 8-foot wood in terms of the beer pong table. So there's maybe a little spillage on that antenna, if the boys were having some fun. God forbid they have fun, Ozzo. God forbid. They're in college and they're 24 years old. So, it was pretty funny talking to Malt because holy fuck, fella, get that Wi-Fi figured out. Like I said, it was about 1G coming in. You like to think they could get something better. Maybe Midco, maybe even like AT&T. I don't know if maybe we can get into a bidding war over there for those guys over at the pit. Like, let's just get them some Wi-Fi so they can at least, maybe load a YouTube video they're trying to watch. Maybe they're trying to watch Live in 5 and they can't. But Ozzo, that brings me to our YouTube page. As we always do, we plug our YouTube page at Live in 5 2024. Subs are going up every day like Apple stock in 2000. So keep liking it. Keep subscribing to us, folks. It does not cost you anything. Our latest interview with Wild Ford, Ryan Hartman, is on there. So go check that out. All of our shorts we post on X and Instagram are on there as well, Ozzo. So, folks, please chirp us, like it, dislike it, whatever you want to do. Engagement always helps in the algorithm. So go check that out at our YouTube page. Again, that is free 99 at Live in 5 2024. Ozzo, what up, baby? You're back from the chin of Colorado. You were mucking around in state parks. You're posting shirtless pics. You're looking fucking jacked, fella. Even more jacked, no diddy, than when I saw you for the golf trip and even the weddings when the shirts were coming off when Ryan or Dylan McElrath was just absolutely torpedoing Superman and guys' shirts off at Shane Gersh's wedding. So, first of all, how was the trip? And then two-part, are you strictly upper body these days? Or I know you're doing the lunge circus, but have you upped the volume in terms of your workout regimen?
Yeah, no, I'll get in the workout regimen first. So as a hockey player, growing up, as well as I do, Jordo, it's basically all legs, okay? I when I was growing up, when I was in college, I wore a waist 38. Not because of the waist, but because my thighs were so goddamn big from skating, doing sled dogs, back squats, all this stuff. You're just using your legs every day. So my leg routine nowadays, I still get them in because I'm not gonna leave them alone. I don't want to be that guy walking around with a bigger upper body and just toothpicks down below. I think that looks brutal. So
the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, like you do not want to look like that. So I leave the weights out of it when I'm doing my legs. So I'm either doing jumps or holds, lunge circuits, like you said. But I've definitely ramped up the upper body for sure. And it's just strictly like, I'm not trying to do anything other than get bigger because why not? You kind of look a little cooler in a t-shirt when you got some muscles. And it's really not for anyone other than myself, looking at myself in the mirror and like, oh fuck, that kind of looks cool. You do a big chest day or like arms and you look in the mirror after you're all pumped up and you're like, holy fuck, I look nasty. This is awesome. So so I've been putting some time in, and like I said on my Instagram post, I'm still pulling my dumbbells from the bottom rack. Like, let's not kid ourselves here.
100%. And one workout I want you to try, actually, a good friend that is a guest of the show, Matt Harder, the strength coach for the Minnesota Wild, you might have heard of that team, sent me just an absolute meathead workout. So what it is, Ozzo, is it's 5 sets of 10. You go shoulder press, 10 reps. So I'll use 60s. And then you go right into an incline, 10 reps. And then you go right into a bench press, 10 reps. And then after that, you go into max push-ups. And then you rest for about the time it took you to do all 4 of those exercises, 5 sets, and then you parlay that with like a TRX row. You'll do pull-ups and then dips, and then maybe I'll do a core and I'll do like 3 or 4 sets of that one. But the first part of that workout is such a meathead workout, but I love it. I do it like once a week, strictly for the point you said is I just want to look kind of big. I kind of want like a C cup up here.
Yeah.
Not for anyone else, just for me. Like you said, when I step out of the shower and I say, fuck, you're not built like a Pete Sampras anymore. You got a little bit of uppers up there. You got some cups, fella. Are those a set of nukes? What's going on?
It definitely makes you feel better walking around a little bit. You feel good, you're comfortable. it's like you look good, you play good. I mean,
Yep.
it all goes into it. I'm feeling better throughout my day because I'm like, fucking look at these people looking at me. They're probably looking at my arms. They aren't, but I think they are. You know, when I look at them and they're looking over at me, I'm like, yeah, I got fucking big arms, yeah. But they're probably just looking at me like, this guy looks like an idiot. Why is his hair? He looks like he didn't even do his hair before he got out of bed. But yeah, I mean, I'll get into my weekend, Jordo. So,
Yep.
Gabby brought me to Colorado to take our engagement pictures. Now,
Okay.
everyone, what I'm gonna go into here, Jordo. I'm not chirping the photographer or these engagement pictures because this is what girls want. And the photographer that Gabby hired, she's great. She's awesome. She's got awesome pictures. She was unbelievable, telling us what to do, telling us what not to do, what looked good. I like that. I need a little direction because I don't know, what we need to do. But anyways, these traditional engagement photos. We're in Estes Park at the Rocky Mountain National Park. These engagement photos are us dressed up, like you're like holding hands, like looking at each other and like just sitting in the mountains with her between my crotch, and we're looking off in the distance. And I'm like, we get done. And now I know this is what girls want, but I'm like, you know what, Gabby? These aren't the engagement pictures I want. Okay.
Yep.
You got yours. I'm going to do mine now. And mine's going to be similar. We're going to be dressed up. We're going to be looking good, but we're going to be doing things that we actually do in real life, not this fake bullshit that everyone else is doing. So I've got this idea, what do? We sit on the couch, we watch TV, we cuddle a little bit. So we're going to take a picture dressed up nice in an outdoor setting, but I'm going to bring a comfy chair and a TV setup just as a props. And we're going to take professional photos of us in this scenic area watching TV. And then we're going to have one eating dinner together because that's what we do in real life. And I think those are going to turn out unbelievable. I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I love because those will be funny too, just looking back on too, in terms of this, you're just sitting on a couch, maybe a little color, you're watching the show, then you're, kind of plating a T-bone steak, and then maybe some other things, maybe you on the golf course or like a pickleball or a tennis match. But I'm with you, Ozzo. I've taken those engagement pictures. Maybe that's when I knew it wasn't a real, I was like, fuck, I don't know. What are we doing here?
It feels fake.
This feels fake. What's going on here? Why are my hands sweating right now?
This isn't us.
What's going on?
This isn't us. I'm not used to staring at you this long.
Right. So, I mean, it did look like an unbelievable time, though. You got your steps in. Obviously, those national parks are great times. You get out in the wilderness. And honestly, it's a little bit of a different reset in terms of, we talked last week with Johnny Tays going to Burning Man, resetting the oil. But this is also too, Ozzo, you get out in nature, you're hiking around, you kind of heads in the clouds like that. You come back and you feel good, right?
Oh man, it is like an oil change almost, like you just feel one with nature. You kind of realize how small you are. And it's one place where your problems really, you're like, problems don't really matter. Look how big this place is, this earth that we're on. So yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable time. And then we actually got home on Saturday, which was nice. Got home, watched football that night, watched that Colorado game against, I think, who were they playing? Baylor. And Shadur came back. Unbelievable game. Had a few drinks with Perp and Dally over at Dally's new pad. So that was nice. And then I actually got to golf with Ty on Sunday and kind of took him to the woodshed. So I was happy about that as well.
That's nice. That's really nice. That's a nice little weekend there. So what days were you in Colorado then? Were you like Thursday through Saturday, come back?
Got there Thursday, went straight out there. I think it was like an hour and a half drive from the airport to this spot, the Estes Park, which is an unbelievable town. If anyone's not been there, I'd suggest going. It's really cool. Really good food. That they got the Stanley Hotel there, where if you've seen The Shining or Dumb and Dumber, both movies filmed at that hotel. It's unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, I would really suggest, if people haven't been there, put it on the calendar. If you're in Colorado, it's just pretty sick.
What is that accent? New Jersey? Austria. Oh, gonna put another little shrimp on the bobby, are you? She goes, Austria goes, oh, a little shrimp on the bobby. Like,
So good.
oh, it's so good. Oh, fuck, that movie is so good. The one-liners in that movie is all time. You fellas been doing a little bit of boosting, have you? So, oh, man, that's all time. But yeah, no, Aspen, huh? Ooh, California.
Yeah. Samsonite.
I knew it started with an S. But yeah, no, it looked unbelievable. I think I'm going to try to get to Aspen. Actually, my folks are going there before opening night in Utah, so I'm going to try to get there next week for a touch. Obviously, I love that place. You go in there, it just smells rich. Nothing I can afford in that neck of the woods, but I do like window shopping. And shout out to a place called Kimosabi. It's one of my favorite Western stores. They actually have one in Jackson Hole as well as Park City and in Aspen. I think they have one in Vail too. So that's always, I love popping in there. But yeah, you just got to get your touch in Colorado, in the Rockies in the fall, and then go see it obviously skiing during the winter. But the fall in the Rockies, fella, it's tough to beat. Like it's just
unbelievable.
That air you're breathing, it's just different.
It's just so clean, and yeah, the leaves were starting to change. It's a hell of a time to be out there. I would honestly suggest you get out to Utah sometime soon because that place is unbelievable in the fall.
Yeah, so I'm going to go there for opening night, Ozzo. I'm going to go there on the 8th. So I might do the old Rocky to Rocky swing. The often talked about, rarely achieved, going to Aspen and then Salt Lake City, making it like a Saturday through Tuesday kind of swing, little rendezvous. And that game, is actually on your boy's birthday. Now, I don't like birthdays, but it's a good excuse to get drunk, right?
Oh, it's a perfect excuse. Perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be good. Weekend over here, Ozzo, honestly, just airing out. On Saturday night, I did a solo mission to a place called Buck and Rider, and I was having a couple old fashions. And now, listen, I'm not saying again, I'm Leonardo DiCaprio over here, but I did have one of the members of the bullpen wanting to hang out. But it's when you've kind of already been there, done that, and you just don't feel a need to maybe do the 3 or 4 course meal and sit there with them. Like you don't like them on that level per se.
Yep.
So I ended up not. So I was going to have a couple drinks and then figure out that situation afterwards because, she had reached out. What are you doing? It's been a few months. Kind of just putting that one on the back burner of the half wall. So ultimately, Ozzo, I said 2 old fashions. I'm just going to go home. I don't want to deal with that. You know what the classic play is too, is when you kind of see someone, and now this is just like stupid millennial talk, but it's always so funny when you like check out, like, someone posts a story, then you click on their profile, like, oh yeah, I'm actually not looking bad. Maybe I should have done that. And then you go to like who they're following and then they unfollow you because you iced them. That's always a classic play.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I'm like, fuck it. Who cares?
I wonder how many people know when people unfollow them. Like I don't pay attention. I have no idea if you unfollow me, I will never ever know. But there's got to be so many girls out there that stare at those apps like, who the fuck's unfollow me today?
100%. And I don't even know what like triggered me. I just had a sense like, dude, I could care less, right? Like whatever. People go their separate ways. You're doing one night professional tryouts. It is what it is. But I just clicked that because I had a feeling it was a Black Eyed Peas moment. I had a feeling, and sure as shit, it was just the old classic unfollowing. What do you think I'm gonna get mad about that? Like it's okay, baby. It's all good. So that was funny. And then on Sunday, I played a little tennis and kind of hung out. But Ozzo, let's get into the President's Cup. We have this coming up. Obviously, it'll drop when these guys start playing tomorrow. That's at Royal in Montreal. We have the U.S. team and then versus the world team. What are you seeing from the U.S. squad? Obviously, Captain Jimmy 5-Hour Furyk leading the troops. A lot of similar names that we kind of saw from the Ryder Cup, maybe missing a few. But you got Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Morikawa, Wyndham Clark. We hate that guy's name. What is a Wyndham? We got Patty Ice Cantley, Theegala, Keegan Bradley, the people's golfer. I love that. I love that pick. He's one of those guys that drags you in, dragging them in. Sammy Burns, Finau, Brian Harman. Don't like his game at all. The 5'4" lefty. I don't. How did he win a Masters? Russell Henley and then Maxi Fertitta. So you're looking at a team like that. And then on the international side, you have Captain Mike Weir, another small lefty that won at Augusta way back. Hideki Matsuyama, you have Stung J.M., I call him, Adam Scott, Tom Kim, Jason, you had a bad day, Hunam as well. And then you have a guy like Corey Connors, Sihu Kim, Mackenzie Hughes, Mi Woo Lee, and then who's this guy? Something Wong? No, I'm just kidding. Taylor Pendrith, and then Christian Bizehout. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but what are we looking at here? Is it the same format? Am I an idiot? Is it the same format as Ryder Cup in terms of how they play these matches? Or talk to me here, Cap.
I want to say it is very similar. I know the first day they're playing 4-ball. And you know what? I'm looking at these teams, Jordo, and I'm wondering, Scotty Scheffler's on a team with Russell Henley. Who the hell is Russell Henley?
I don't know a Russell. That's like an old football. Like Russell Wilson.
Where did this guy come from? Where did this guy come from?
I mean, I've heard his name, but like, how is he on the team?
That's what I'm asking. I really don't know. I mean,
like I've heard of Russ.
Like these tournaments, how do we not have Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau out there? I mean, it just doesn't make sense, but I think it is the same. And actually, I was looking at the lineups of both these. The international team's got some players. It looks like it's actually matching up pretty well. You'd like to think the American team would have it handled. You'd think, but I don't know. It'll be fun. I love these. I love these team versus team golf matches because you don't get them very often.
Yep.
And it is just a different element to the game. It's almost like watching the U.S. Amateur when they go match play and they're playing against each other one-on-one. I love watching that golf.
Yeah, that is a hell of a tournament. And the international squad right now, Azo, at least according to DraftKings Sportsbook, is plus 250. Now, as an American, it's tough to bet against your own countrymen, but that's pretty good odds at 250.
And it's anyone's game out there.
Right. I would almost say argue that it's closer to almost even money, and you're getting that. I mean, Vegas obviously knows what they know, but that just stands out to me at plus 250. It's kind of like, why not throw a little cheddar on that?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad bet at all. And where are they at? They're up in Montreal, right, in Canada?
Yep.
They get a little French touch. I wonder how those fans are up there.
Oh, speaking of a new room massage, holy fuck! Get the Diddy oil out and get on the table. Get a full rub down. Holy fuck! Little poutine in a new room. How are ya? But yeah, we'll see. I mean, Jimmy 5 Hour, obviously Fluff Cowan's going to be up there because he's been divorced 5 times and needs all the cheddar he can get. So I think Fluff will be driving Jimmy around in the cart. The U.S. has got some decent players. Obviously, when you got Scooty Chef and a couple other those guys, you're going to be in good hands. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this kind of unravels, and I'll be paying attention. Like this, I think this international team, they're sneaky pretty good.
No, yeah, they've got some sticks, and I think if you're looking at the world rankings now, it does feel a little bit different. You don't have Jordan Spieth here, you don't have Justin Thomas, you don't have Ricky Fowler, you don't have Brooks Koepka, you don't have Dustin Johnson, you don't have Bryson DeChambeau. It feels a little weird. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the world rankings, this is I don't know how the U.S. team is favored.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you got a guy like Patty Ice. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to monitor that as we get going here into the weekend up in Montreal. But Ozzo, let's snap it over to some other felt. Let's go over to the gridiron. We had NFL Week 3, and there's just a lot of different storylines, especially a lot of non-traditional quarterbacks in the mix. It seems like every year 1 or 2 guys kind of stand out early, and then they kind of fade out, and then maybe you get an odd name late in the season where they kind of make a playoff push and basically guarantee themselves a contract for the following year at being a backup and or a starter. But you got a guy like Drew Dalton over in Carolina. I mean, once a horn frog, always a horn frog. That guy's playing horny. What a week he had, chucking dimes. You had a guy like Sammy Darnold. I mean, 2 is a fluke, 3 is a streak. We'll see if he can get it done in Green Bay. We'll touch on that later. Somehow Mike Tomlin always just wills his team to win. They're 3-0.
Fucking Mike Tomlin.
Another storyline is Joey Burrow. I mean, they're 0-3. The Slim Shady haircut not working out, not perfect. Their defense, the Commanders kind of took the screws to them. So anything that kind of just popped out on your, side of things, obviously I mentioned a few things with quarterbacks, but, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Week 3. Did you watch? Were you glued to the TV? Did you see anything that kind of, just was worthy of talking about?
Yeah, no, I think I watch pretty much every NFL game. I love the NFL. I listen to NFL podcasts, so I do have a little bit of knowledge. One thing that stuck out to me, I'll go first off. Josh Allen is an absolute animal. That guy is fucking incredible. Year in, year out, he's an absolute animal. I know, like Patty Mahomes, 3-0. Okay, 3-0. He's 5 TDs to 4 picks. Not a great start for Patty, but they're winning games. He just knows how to win games. I don't know if he's having a slow start, but Josh Allen right now seems to be the front runner for the MVP. And then one thing, Josh Allen just took the Jaguars to the woodshed. Trevor Lawrence, you remember Trevor Lawrence coming out of college? Everyone's like, this guy is made for football. He's the next Andrew Luck. Is it time to say he's a bust? I mean, what are we doing here? I think he's 0-11 or 0-8 in his last 8 or 11 games as a starter. You might have to throw Mac Jones in there, Jaguars. I don't know what you're thinking. Jaden Daniels for the Commanders.
He was slinging it crispy. Yeah, but just touching on Trevor Lawrence quick, like I knew that guy wasn't going to be a player.
Didn't you?
And the reason why, Ozzo, is because he got engaged like after his sophomore year. He dropped to a Kaepernick on the 50-yard line. Not only did he have the sunshine from Remember the Titans like flow, but you're dropping to a knee, man. Just save it, buddy. What are you doing? I know you're in love. She'll be there. She's not going anywhere. You're going to be the first overall fucking pick, fella. Enjoy it while you have it here at Clemson. Why are you bringing sand to the beach when it seems unnecessary to me? That is when I knew. I was like, I don't like that guy. He had that one playoff game when Doug Peterson was coaching there, okay? Mm-hmm. And that was a little shot of life when he led those guys back. Other than that, I don't like that guy's game at all.
No, and he was one of the guys. I knew he wasn't going to be good either because he came out of college and he said, like, yeah, I mean, football isn't everything to me. You know, I don't love it that much. I'm just good at it, and it's my job. And it's like, if you don't love football, buddy, you ain't going to be good at it. You got to love the game to be good at it at any professional level. That is what separates those college players from the NFL players. It's like a lot of these guys have the same talent. It's just that guy who's playing in the big leagues has more passion for the game than you do. And if you don't have that, you're screwed. And I kind of knew I didn't think that was going to go over well. And it certainly doesn't look like it is right now.
Yeah. And just staying on the quarterback side of things, is the Deshaun Watson contract going to go down as the worst contract of all time in NFL history? I mean, we've seen the likes of a Jamarcus Russell like bust when quarterbacks used to get the bag right off the front, but like this contract for Deshaun Watson, I mean, someone get this guy a tug. Someone get him a full body release right now. Give him anything right now, because the way he is slinging it, I mean, his quarterback rating, Oslo, for the first 3 games of the season is like 60. Like it is horrible. It is stinky in Browntown. It smells like shit. The mistake on the lake. People hate this guy. I mean, rightfully so. Just touch on a little bit on D Watson. What do you even do with that? Because you're paying him so much money.
Dude, I think you just have to cut your losses at this point. It's like, I know you want to protect your investment and you got to stick it out, but it ain't getting any better. And when you have so much background noise, like Deshaun Watson in Houston, before all this shit came out, he was an unbelievable quarterback because he's focused. He doesn't have anything to worry about. How are you supposed to be a good NFL quarterback? Do you realize how much shit you have to memorize as a quarterback? You have to be watching so much video and thinking about the game the whole time. There's no way this guy can think as much as he needs to about playing football when he's got all this other side action going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do there. And then you got Jameis as your backup. I mean, the ultimate hype man, right? He's like the cheerleader for you in terms of, you know, he's kind of got that big cone out and he's always yelling through it. So yeah. I don't know what you do there, but just, you know, the theme of this is kind of just staying on the quarterbacks and getting to something a little bit more serious now. Ozzo is Brett Favre. He had to testify in front of Congress the other day. I'm not exactly sure the full details of that, but I just wanted to touch on Brett Wrenchpick Favre in all seriousness, my favorite quarterback growing up. And then Rodgers ultimately took the cake there, but he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He came out and he has been upfront with that. There's been articles in the past where he has quoted saying he's probably suffered at least 1,000 concussions, which is a crazy stat. And I believe it. That guy was one of the toughest son of a bitches I've ever seen stand in the pocket and just suck every second out of trying to make a play and taking that hit. And that was back in the days, Ozzo, where you could actually touch the quarterback and hit him.
You could hammer him
and give him a good shot up high. So It's sad to see because Brett's not that old. I think he's a 54-year-old male. He's been through the ringer, a lot of different things through his life. So I just wanted to shine some light on the Green Bay legend number 4. Always had a soft spot in my mind and in my heart. So I know he's a rival of yours, but he did spend a little time on the other side of the Mississippi with the Vikings. Just touch on Favre, anything you got to say, because, man, that's just sad seeing that. And it's unfortunate. Yeah. You see the side effects of head hits, and this is ultimately one of them. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I mean, Brett Favre, even though he was a Packer, obviously I'm a Vikings fan, he was like the guy everyone wanted to be. I mean, every guy wants to be tough. They want to be a quarterback one. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't know how people feel about him now, but he was always one of my favorite players. Even when he came out of the Vikings, he was older. He was still throwing it all on the line. I mean, he was still the same player, and it is sad to, he got Parkinson's directly from getting concussions. Yep. It sucks to think, but yeah, you mentioned a good point when you're reading off the Gladiator Therapeutics, though. When you're reading that ad read, maybe let's get some Gladiator Therapeutics, Brett. Maybe we'll try anything. I think he'll be around for a while, Jordo, because he's got money, he's famous, and with the way technology and medical advancements are going right now, I think he'll live. I don't know how many years, but I don't think he'll be gone too soon. But hopefully he can find some good medication and get that figured out. But Jordo, NFL Week 4. I'm going to read you guys a new sponsor we have here. NFL Week 4 and Brett Favre's brought to you by Broshin Sunscreen. Are you tired of your girl hassling you about wearing sunscreen on the golf course? We were, and that's why we created Broshin and simplified the process by conveniently packaging the sunscreen into single-use packets sold on Amazon. Remember, boys, always wear protection. Now, this is a great thing. I mean, you don't want to be lugging around a full tube of, you already got so much shit in your golf bag, right, Jordo? You don't want to bring a full tube of sunscreen. You don't even want the boys to see it. So
how brutal is it too when that sunscreen, you forget it's been in there and then it blows up in your bag in the side pocket and it's everywhere. It's like Diddy's closet in there. It's just all over the place. Like, it's just like, oh my God, like I forgot that sunscreen was in there, especially in the desert when it's hot, it just explodes in your bag. And then now, so it's like when it happens in a toiletry kit with some face wash or lotion, now you just have to get a new bag because you can't even clean it. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have these little packets like that, that's actually such a genius idea. You can kind of just stuff them right in where you put your balls and your tees and you take it out and then it's a single use thing and then you throw it out. I don't even have to worry about it because also, Ozzo, those things of sunscreen, especially the face shit, like it's expensive. You're paying like $20, $25.
And half the time I'm only using that packet's worth. And I'm losing the bottle anyways. But I got to buy the whole bottle anyways. So I think this is a great idea by these guys.
Yeah, so go check that out. Broshin, obviously, especially being in an AZ here, you're winding down up there in terms of getting some real sunlight, Ozzo. But you always need it with that UV index in the Midwest, wherever in the summer months. So, Ozzo, NFL Week 4, my friend. Well, we have the showdown we've all been waiting for, and it comes early this year. Again, we have Vikings Packers. That's a matinee going off the box, I believe, at noon or maybe 2 o'clock. I'm not sure if that was Central Standard or Pacific Standard. But anyways, Lambeau Field, my friend. Vikings coming in. Jordan Love, I don't think he's going to play, but maybe Vegas knows something we don't, sitting here on a Wednesday recording. First of all, Green Bay's -2.5, which is crazy to me if Love's not going to play. Like, that just seems that with Malik Willis and how hot the Minnesota Vikings defense is, parlay that with Darnold playing out of his mind. But obviously we got to put some action on this. So last year we did a bottle of whiskey. We did the Belfour. What do you want to put on it this year, fella? What do we do? Do we do a bottle of Camus? Do we do what do we do?
Yeah, we got to do something. I'd go bottle of Camus. That'd be nice.
Okay. Yeah, let's do a bottle of Camus.
And you know what, Jordo? I don't want you to have points. I don't even want to take the points. I want to go money line. This is a straight up bet. I don't need the points.
I was going to ask you that. Do we make this a money line bet?
Yeah, it's a money line.
Okay, so it's money line. It's just winner take all. We got a bottle of Camus on the line here. I don't think Love's going to play. It sounded like he was going to be out until at least week 5, but you never know. We're just two assholes recording here on a Wednesday going into Sunday. So money line Camus, folks, whatever side of the rivalry you're on, make sure you're tuned into that one. It is one of the greatest in sports. Now, Oswald, I'm looking at week 4, and before I ask you your lock, like, there's no way the Bengals can start off 0-4, right? They're minus 4.5 this week. There's no way Joey Burrow, that team, they go 0-4. Like, they gotta win,
shot.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna take Bengals minus 4 and a hook. That game just jumps out to me. Like, it's just the law of averages there. Like, there's no way the Bengals lose on Sunday. So I like that game. And that was honestly, those are my 2 locks. I mean, I got to take my Packers if Camus is on the line for a lock. And then I'm going to take the Bengals. They're playing the Panthers. It dropped to minus 3.5 now. Okay. Wow. So that's on on Wednesday. Obviously that'll be at 10 a.m. on Fox. That's Pacific Standard. So noon Central. What do you got for your lock, bro?
I got the Eagles are going into Tampa Bay. They're favored by 2 points. You're taking the Bucs +2 every day of the week in Tampa Bay. I think the Eagles are pretenders. I've never liked them. Nick Sirianni, don't think he's a great coach. Doesn't know how to coach, I don't think. He made a couple stupid plays, stupid decisions last week. I mean, they ultimately ended up winning the game against the Saints, but they could have easily lost it. They should have never even been close to losing that game. I don't believe in this team. I'm going Tampa Bay at home +2.
I like that. And you just see how much they miss a good center in Jason Kelce. Dude, you don't realize how important that is, how important that ass is for your quarterback. And just like getting off the line of scrimmage, you never think about those guys. And then you're missing an all-pro Hall of Famer. And you forget he touches the nugget every play, just like the quarterback. The only 2 guys on the field that touch it every play is the center and the quarterback. So you really see they're missing that there.
100% they are. I mean, the center it's everything. Like he's got to almost be as smart as the quarterback, and when you get a good one, it helps it makes the quarterback look so much better. Like you don't even know the little details that go into that center, pointing out who's blitzing, what's going on. They're just as important as a quarterback. So yeah, they're really missing Jason Kelce, but fuck, Jason Kelce's been all over the place. Hey, it looks like he's enjoying retirement.
Yeah, he's been on a hell of a bend. He's been on ESPN. He's at, hype rallies outside of the field there, the bank in Philly at Comcast Sports, little sportsplex there. So yeah, it looks like he's enjoying it. He's in a jumper. Obviously, he's getting the bag too from New Heights, their podcast. So yeah, he's doing okay. But let's send it over to, let's stay in Philadelphia, but let's send it over to, the ice. And we wanted to give just a couple clicks and some love for John Tortorella. Obviously, Dane Jackson, who we've had on the pod, coaches both at North Dakota, associate head coach there, always raves of how good of a man John Tortorella is. Now, he gets a negative rap for different things in the media, but John Tortorella is a good dude, Azo, and he showed that, how big of a heart he has, inviting Guy Gaudreau, the father of late Maddie and Johnny Gaudreau, out to practice the other day in training camp for the Philadelphia Flyers. So he was out there snapping it around, and it sounds like they're going to get him involved in the fold in terms of going forward. He'll be out there next week as well. But if there's any sort of, a way to kind of just get your mind off of what's happened and just kind of just come back to the rink and be involved in something. And, a tragedy happens and it's so horrible, but it's just so classy from Torts to think of this man and, the dad of 2 former hockey players, to get him into the fold and bring him out to training camp and ultimately just try to get his mind off it. As Torts said, hopefully it's a little bit therapeutic for Guy. Yeah,
it was really cool to see. And I obviously saw your guys' clip with Obi and you on Missing Curfew, and Obi knows Torts and played for him. And yeah, I think Obi just talked about, like, he's just a good dude. Like, yeah, you might not like what he says to you sometimes. You might not like some things he says or does. But at the end of the day, he's a good, genuine dude, and he really wants the best for people, and he has a good heart. It was just a really cool thing to see Torts do that. Now, you can say whatever you want about the guy, but unless you know him personally, you don't know shit.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. And it was cool, too, Torts was there was a story Torts told after practice where he was kind of banging his sticks at the guys and be like, come on, pick up the pace. Like, you got to play harder. And Guy went up to Torts and he's like, I don't know how much harder you can push them here. They only have 3 lines. He's like, so he was kind of paying attention. He's like,
Yeah.
they only got 3 lines out here. How much harder do you want them to go? So he's engaged. He is a coach. I just love how Torts kind of worded it too. He's like, well, he's a coach first and foremost. He's done a lot in this area for young Philadelphia kids coming up through the ranks, not only on the Jersey side, but on the Philadelphia side. So yeah, really cool. That's what makes hockey the best sport in the world, man, because there's so many caring people, and what you might see on the cover from Torts is not the whole story. And he is good people. Azo, we're going to slide it over and north to a little bit more hockey talk, but hilarious little bit the other day coming out of Ottawa, and it involves the Toronto media, TSN, Sportsnet. It was in a pile. It was in the scrum after the game, and it was in Ottawa, the game, and they were interviewing Craig Berube, and someone in the scrum asked Chief if it's time to panic because they're 0-2 in the preseason. Like, holy fuck. LeafLand, you fully lost it. I thought you were crazy. Now you're fucked 3 ways of Tuesday. Chief, the look that Chief gave that media member, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And if you ever ask that question again, I might knock you out.
What? How did this guy or whoever asked the question, how did they even get allowed in there with a type of question like this? And after that, do they get banned the rest of the season for asking such a stupid ass question? Half their players aren't even playing right now. They got East Coast players playing in these games. It's like, what are you talking about, buddy? Get out of here. You are fired. You're done. Go find a new job.
It was hilarious. It was a gal. I'm not gonna say who or assume who it was, but it was a gal because just based on the voice. But it's like you're literally playing split squad games, a game on the road where you only dress probably 5 NHL regulars, maybe 7, and you have guys like you said from the Marlies, the Coast, PTOs, and the whole 9 yards, and you're asking if it's time to panic. It's the second preseason game. What are you smoking? Because is that Rob Ford's crack? Because I want some of it.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I don't know how Berube keeps it straight during that. I mean, I just die laughing. Like, are you serious?
Oh, just the look, just the disgust. Chief was like, "Are you really like this is what we're talking about?" So that was hilarious. Also, I just wanted to bring up one player right now that has been getting a lot of buzz, and he's a netminder out of Boston, and holding firm with his chips as he should. The man deserves to get paid. And I just don't know, like, how is this even an issue in Boston with Jeremy Swayman? I mean, you trade out Allmark, you make Swayman your number 1. You don't elect to go to arbitration. So Don Sweeney could have elected to take Jeremy Swayman to arbitration, where you kind of punt it down the road. We'll say, hey, we'll do a 1-year deal arb, or we'll do 2 years arb. You get a number, you sign them, you punt it. All right, everyone moves on. An independent arbitrator, they come up with a number for Swayman, and it's done. But he decides not to elect for that, and ultimately try to get this guy signed for anywhere between 6 and 8 years. And just the numbers coming out of it, there's been some rumors of, it starts with a 6. I don't know if I believe that, but there's guys that do have credible sources saying the number ain't close. So, like, if you're Don Sweeney and you're Jeremy Jacobs, who is the owner of the Boston Bruins, what are you doing? Why like, what are we doing here, boys? Like, if Swayman wants 8 times 9 or 8 times 8.5, I think reportedly he was asking for around 10 to start. But I have a hard time believing if you went up to Swayman today and said, you know what, buddy, we'll give you 8 times 9, 8 times 8.5. We'll front load it with some signing bonus money. Can't we just get this done? Like, get your number 1 goalie into camp, because now if, say, he starts and gets signed mid-October, wherever it is, even if he signed now, dude, you risk so much injury coming into playing catch-up, especially as a goalie with those growings, your knees.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't think like hardball, especially with a guy that is a cornerstone piece of your franchise, is ever the play. Like, just get it done.
It's such a weird play by them too, with getting rid of Allmark. You would think you want to have this locked up before you get rid of Allmark, so you have some, like, hey, if you don't like this deal, we'll go with Allmark. But like, now, what are they gonna? I mean, Swayman's got all the chips on his side. Like, it's like,
right, and they do have Corpusalo, but like, it's not Swayman.
No, I say it's like you guys kind of need me right now. Like, what why are we fucking around?
Yeah, it's a weird, like, what do you think I mean, he can't be asking for a crazy number. It's like, I think like something under that McAvoy deal makes sense. Now, I think the 8th year is important to Swayman. So, okay, so if he wants 8 years, give him 8.5, maybe 9. McAvoy's 8 times 9.5. So maybe if you want to pay him a little bit under that, but it's like, dude, this guy is your number one goalie. You traded away a fucking goalie that, almost, I think he did win a Vezina. You traded away a goalie that won a Vezina, and you make him your number one. Just a really weird play of hardball there. So we'll see how that unfolds. Hopefully he gets his payday soon. Also, staying within original 6 team, just lastly, I just wanted to touch on Lane Hudson. If you have a bookie or you bet on DraftKings or you just want to sprinkle a little action, I think he was at plus 1,100 the last time I checked. Lane Hudson for the Calder Memorial Trophy. That's the Rookie of the Year. Being a year older than Celebrini, that Will Smith, I think, is going to take a little bit of the thunder away from Celebrini.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hudson's going to have to win that thing outright ultimately. You can't just go in there and take down the prize fighter. You have to beat them for that award. So I think that's going to be something similar for Hudson. But, man, that saucer pass he had in that fucking game and the way he's moving out there in the preseason, like one-man breakout on the power play, like, fuck, man, he looks good. He looks like a Quinn Hughes 2.0 fella.
He does. It's like when I watched that, when I saw his saucer pass, I'm watching it and I'm like, this ain't even the same game I played, I don't think. Like, that's insane. But yeah, I don't know why, Jordo. I don't really have any basis on this. I know Celebrini's great. I just think it's going to take him a little bit longer to adapt to the NHL. I know he'll have a good season, but I think Lane Hudson will hop right in. So yeah, I think that's a good bet.
I think he just looks like he's just coming in to fuck it up, and they're just letting him play his game, and he just has that confidence of like, yeah, he just seems like it's 4 on the floor for him. He's driving it up the ice, like just one-man breakout, silky smooth. So hopefully he can stay healthy, Ozzo, and we'll monitor that. That's all we got for the NHL talk. Again, I don't love preseason. As a season gets going here, Ozzo, we'll talk more puck, less NFL, but right now with preseason, it's just kind of, unless something really stands out to our chins, we're going to kind of keep it at that. But
yeah, we're not panicking yet, Jordo, here.
No. We're going to have about 9 months to talk hockey. So we'll be sick of it by then. And then we'll be talking NBA, and people will get mad because we're a couple of hockey guys that don't know anything about NBA. But hey, this is our show. We'll talk about NBA if we want.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You guys don't have to worry about it. You don't have to listen. You can fast forward, but you should listen because I actually know some shit about ball too.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get over to one hitters with the captain. This week, Ozzo, I got a funny one for you. And, it just kind of sparked something with me. I let you know what it was going to be before. So let's get into it. One hitters with the captain this week, folks, it is a hell of a question. So I got for you, Ozzo, car sex or movie theater tuck. Now, this probably brings you back to the high school days where you didn't have a stabbing cabin. You didn't have maybe somewhere to kind of get your rocks off per se. So you maybe had to slide it in the car where you dropped that thing back and, as far as you could go, or maybe if you had the old Jeep, you could kind of pop out the sunroof maybe, or did you like risking it? Or do you like having the idea of an adrenaline rush, maybe going to a movie that's been out for 5 odd months and no one's in there and you're in a nice theater too. It's a little bit grosser in a theater, I think, in a car, but take me through what you would do in a situation. Car sex or movie theater tuck? Okay,
Jordo, am I in high school right now or am I my age right now?
I think that's however you want to interpret it. Yeah, well, I think whatever, you can do high school Ozzo and current day Ozzo if you want.
Yeah, so it's actually, it's different. So high school Ozzo would have for sure taken the movie theater. And why? Because I did things for the story. That's a hell of a story. You're out in public. You got that little someone might walk in. This is crazy. Is someone watching us? It's an unbelievable story. So I went that route. Nowadays, I have a little bit, as I've matured and, I do have a business myself. I have a little more respect for employees and, a movie theater seat that I might wreck and someone's going to sit in. And nowadays I would feel bad about that. So I would choose the car nowadays. I'm locked in there. I'm not really doing things for the story as much. Still kind of am, but not in that sense. So I'm going car nowadays. And there's something about the car too, Jordo. It's like, if you last, let's say 5 minutes in the bedroom, you're going 2.5 in the car. There's just something exciting about it.
Yeah, I still got a break in the Bronco that way. The old workbench. I'm still waiting for the lucky one. I'm still waiting for the lucky one to put on the workbench. 4 on the floor, 4 the old stick shift both ways, fella. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, if you're a 30-year-old asshole fucking in a movie theater, you got some serious.
What do you get arrested? Like they can bring the cops in there and you're walking out with cuffs?
Like, what are you doing? I know it's a rom-com and you're all horned up, but fuck me. Can't you just go to you can go to the car now, you know? Like, what are we doing? Like, Jesus, you got the fucking, you got the
might even be a funnier story as a 30-year-old.
Yeah. Hey boys, I tucked in a movie theater. What?
How sick is that?
What? Your wife? Yeah, man, it was awesome. Oh, nice.
Tell your kids they'll think it's sick.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fucking all time. There's still probably some beauties listening that, you know, might get a hold of this and go for the old movie theater tucked north of 30. You never know.
If you do and you're listening, please let us know. That's awesome.
Yeah, call in we'll leave you anonymous too, right? Like we'll just say we have a confirmed listener that that got it done while watching Ironman 3. I didn't even know that movie was still out, but somehow you found Theater 7 and you went in there and you got it done. So Ozzo, that was the one hitter of the week. People's insider term of the week is don't sweat the petty things, pet the sweaty things. So what that means is things in life always come up, everything every day. It's like the news. All your problems today are not problems the next day. And it's like the news, the biggest headline that day, well, it blows over and everybody forgets about it. And so do you. So when things come up in life and you get worked up over, you get all hot and bothered and you're sad, you're pissed off, you're unmotivated. Don't be sweating those petty things. Pet the sweaty things. So I think you know what petting a sweaty thing is. It might rhyme with fox, a female has, you know. It might be a box, folks, if you can't put that one together. So go tickle it downstairs. Don't be rushing to, you know, Ozzo, just don't be, getting all emotional and riding that roller coaster. Just sit back and say, you know what? Okay, it's going to be okay. I'm going to go pet something right now. So, folks, make it a full petting zoo. That is the People's Insider term of the week. Don't sweat the petty things. Pet the sweaty things, baby. Ozzo, what do you have for your nail gun of the week, fella?
My nail gun of the week was a pretty obvious one to me, just from what I watched. Andy Dalton comes in, 37 years old, red hair, 300 yards, 3 TDs, brings the Carolina Panthers their first win of the season. He was the first quarterback to go 300 yards and 3 TDs. And you know what, Jordo? This guy just passed. He's 25th on the all-time touchdown list. Guess who was 25th before him? Tony Romo. So he just passed Tony Romo for all-time touchdowns. 25th on the list. I mean, that's unbelievable for Andy Dalton. I didn't know he was that good. Unbelievable stuff by that guy. How do you ever go back to Bryce Young? You don't. Season, career, maybe. I don't know what happens there.
Yeah, unless Drew Dalton really gets banged up, he's got that job for the rest of the year as far as I'm concerned. The 36-year-old veteran, we mentioned him earlier in the show, at a Texas Christian University. That's the Horned Frogs. Yeah, he's playing horny. Arm looks good. I honestly, Ozzo, didn't even know he was in the league until week 1. I was like, is that Drew Dalton, the old fire crotch that was slinging it to Chad Ochocinco back in the day? What? Yeah. That Drew? So, yeah, I mean, good for him. What is old is new again, and that's a great pick. My nail gun, I couldn't think of any true one. So I had a getting nailed dude of the week, and that was Diddy. Diddy's in jail right now. 775 dildos they found and 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Like, dude, talk about like how many holes are you finding, Diddy? And how many people do we think are going to get taken down by this? Obviously, earlier in the year, Cat Williams alluded to it. And, you know, he said this whole thing is going to come out, and sure as shit it has. But yeah, I mean, like, you're going to Costco. Are you getting that? Like, is that like a airstrike you have to kind of call in? Like, you're getting like just pallets of oil just brought in. And I mean, 775 dildos.
Yeah.
Like that, like you go into a sex shop, they don't even have that in stock.
No, I haven't read too much into this. Now, obviously, I know there's been some shady shit, but Jordo, maybe you know more, but what is this guy one of the craziest guys in history? He's full on, like, he likes dudes. Is that what's happening?
I think he throws both ways. I think he likes dudes. I think he likes underage minors. I think he likes young kids. I think he's anywhere from Epstein to a menace. I think the crazy thing is who is he going to take down with this? Obviously, a guy like Usher deleted all of his tweets. There's just a lot of shady things going on. I mean, you have those quotes from LeBron even in years past, ain't nothing like a Diddy party. So what's going on there? The link to J-Lo, obviously Justin Bieber rumors. But yeah, I just think like the Diddy freak-offs were the staple forever, where he basically had all of it on camera. I think that a lot of stuff's going to come out on game film. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be unraveled in the months coming. Now, let's see if Hollywood and the people can hold that in, in terms of maybe there's some government officials that just burn the tape. Who knows? Maybe they were in a Diddy party. Like, you know how it is. It's all fucking just chopped up and it's all corrupt. So who knows, fella? But yeah, I just had to get him as the getting nailed dude of the week in terms of P. Diddy. So that wraps up the pre-show, Ozzo. We're going to send it over to senior forward Jake Schmaltz, who joined the program. Again, folks, a little bit, if you're watching it on our YouTube, Malt's connection wasn't perfect. So the audio quality is great. But again, like I said earlier, he kind of looks like a Tetris board at times. But great chatting with my cousin, who's like a brother to me. Ozzo, that was Live in 5 pre-show, number 57. Fuck, fella. That was tape to tape, crispy rice. So always a pleasure. All righty, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Live in 5, baby. This week, our guest, reoccurring guest, Jake Schmaltz, like a brother to me, Ozzo. We had him on this past year. And again, reoccurring guest. Ozzo, anytime we can get a reoccurring guest on the show, on the program, a 2-time Live in 5 guest, it's a special place in our heart. It means we're doing something okay, or maybe we just forced this guy to come on, but we'll leave it at that. So last time we had Jake on, obviously I did the Chicago Bulls entrance for him. This time we're bringing him on. I'm going to do a little bit of a rap for Malt. So here it is, folks. Introducing now out of McFarland, Wisconsin. Here it is. Straight out of a cul-de-sac in McFarland, Wisconsin. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and a peach fuzz chin. Maltos Malt. He is the shit pile of the cousin crew by default. He may not know how to make ramen noodles or wipe his own ass, but by God damn it, he sure knows how to rip a bass. Senior year on the brink, number 8 loves snapping them back on the hockey rink. Born a Sioux, always a Sioux. He bleeds green and black. It's time to grab your sack and get Nodak hockey back. Team guy, some call him Elmer's glue. Need another big hit on Celebrini this year. Let's go, Sioux. Fella, how you doing? Good to see your chin. Celebrini obviously not back, but need another hit like that. So what up, baby? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me back. It's an honor.
Yeah, Malt, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's good to have your chin back here. Reoccurring guests, like we said. Not too many of those, Oz. We've had Bennington on. Obviously, we've had Stetch on. Somehow that tape got lost over at Hooters on our inaugural show. But Jake Schmaltz back by popular demand. Malt, let's start it off the top. Obviously, you're back in Grand Forks. September is now here. We're making our way into the latter half of preseason. So give the Sioux faithful, give the boys over here a couple washed up Nodak alum. What's going on at Grand Forks? How's it going in the preseason? And how are the fellas feeling right now mid-September?
Yeah, we're feeling great. We're kind of trending upwards into the season. We're kind of getting out of the dog days of late July and just kind of getting out of those days where we're actually snapping it and not just battling super hard every single day. But we're doing great. I mean, it's an exciting time to be here, and I'm just excited to finally start playing some real meaningful games and just get out there.
Yeah, they gotta be itching at the bit, Jordo, right now, right? Like they're training so long, just getting over this the coach can be on the ice for 2 hours, but they're watching the whole time. So it's actually like they're out there. Well, before we get into hockey, I know the listeners like hearing about this. And I remember back in the day, when you'd show up in the locker room and you get your full new Gitch, you got a bunch of your tracksuit, your hoodies. How's that stuff looking right now? Is that Adidas stuff? Are you guys liking it? I remember, Jordan, one year we got our workout shirts that were from Reebok, and I think we all got like quad XLs, and then the shorts were like we were playing in the 90s in the NBA, like way too long. Brutal style, but I still got the shirt and the shorts. I can't even wear them nowadays because it's like it looks terrible. So how's the setup? Are they got you guys looking good?
Yeah, we're actually getting that next week, so we haven't gotten that just yet, but I heard some rumors. We're getting some cool stuff. I think we're getting a cut-off hoodie, sleeves off with the hoodies.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one, but it's all cool. It's just the sharp-looking green and the black shorts, and we got some cool training shoes. I got some Damian Lillard Adidas training shoes on in there, so I can maybe help my jump out in the training room. But
yeah,
I always like their stuff.
Little Dame Dollar. Yeah, it always comes down to Ozzo too. Is a guy like Mark Pullman, and as well as working with the equipment manager, making sure your off-ice swag is up to par. But that day you walk in the locker room, you get your parka jacket because it's negative fucking 40 in Forks by the time mid-October rolls around. And then you get all your little things of your under gear, some things you could wear around campus or class. Some of the guys, I remember, they wouldn't even shower. They'd just throw that Gitch on the whole year, and they wouldn't even do their laundry. It's like, fella, you smell like shit. You smell like Up Dog. What's Up Dog? Well, you smell horrible. Maybe mix in a shower, or maybe, laundry. It's only going to cost you 25 cents to get it done here, boys. Or you can even take it maybe into the equipment manager. And if you tip him or you're nice enough, he might even do this for you. But the one thing I do remember, Ozzo, is Mark Pullman, shout out to Pooley, 1 year got us Chris Paul Jordans for our workout shoes.
Yes.
Those things were unbelievable. They weren't just the stock Reebok ones at the time, because back then Reebok and Adidas was even worse than it is now. Like the Reebok shit was horrible.
Brutal.
But we got the fucking Jays, and I just felt so minty with those shoes on. It was like a 3/4 top, like a mid-range special. So those were unbelievable. Malt, what would you say, the coolest thing you've gotten over the years in terms of, it is like Christmas morning when you get all that Nodak swag. Is it like the Bill Belichick like cutoff hoodie, or is it, what was like one thing you're like, fuck, I wish I still had maybe another one of these?
I think the parkas, like, you can't go wrong with the big parka. It's kind of hard to come by a big warm jacket, and especially here. It's like you're wearing that every day for 4 months. So that's probably what you need. But I'd say coolest thing, I'm excited to see this cutoff hoodie. Like, if we're hitting upper body and you can rock that thing and actually fill it out somewhat, like, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, that's gonna be looking good. I always liked. I don't know where they're going with the sweatshirts nowadays, Malt. I don't know how your past sweatshirts have gone, but I know when I was a freshman, they gave us, Jordan, like these just gray hoodie, just said North Dakota Hockey on it with your number, nails. And then they started getting fancy with the Reebok and like the wines and stuff, and it didn't look great. I couldn't even wear them. I've got them hanging up in my closet. I don't wear them because they look brutal. It's like something like a little kid would buy out of a pro shop, like from his favorite NHL team or something. It's just not. Have they changed that, or are they still trying to get fancy with those hoodies?
Yeah, like some of the hoodies have a lot of stripes, like the Adidas 3 stripes going down the side, and that's a little too much for me. But in the past too, we've got the cool like Nodak right across the chest. That's just simple and it's so clean. That's probably my favorite hoodie that we've got. But I know sometimes it just gets a little too out there, and it's like, I don't know if I can wear this out. Yeah,
it was always so funny too when you'd be walking around campus and those hoodies would sometimes go missing. Now, whether it was with a significant other, maybe a one-night type of deal, but all of a sudden you're walking in the, say, Gamble Hall, and you're like, holy shit, how does that girl have a team-issued hoodie on under her parka right now, under the Canada Goose? Like, what number is that? Is that 20? Is that fuck? How does she know Ozzo? I didn't know that, Where'd you get that? You go up to her, where'd you slide that one in? Maybe I know him. I can maybe get that thing signed for you, too, if you want. Oh, man. But, yeah, those are that's always the best day in terms of now we know the season is set. Now we know we're getting into real thing. It's for keeps now. We got all of our stuff set in terms of our off-ice gear, our swag. So that was always cool. But, Malt, just getting into, your senior year here, bro. It just feels like it's just flown by, and it's what everyone says when you gotta get on campus. Enjoy every day, enjoy every moment with the boys, because literally you snap your finger and it's over. And you're going into a big year, not only personally but for your team, right? It's a chance to again compete for a national championship, a new group. You're obviously a leader there and an assistant captain. So with the leadership group and just the overall start, what is the biggest thing you guys are kind of keening on going into the start of the year, getting into the preseason game, and then ultimately into Providence? Is it just, let's get off on a good foot and build from there? Let's really make our marker. What's like the one message maybe from the coaching staff or the players? It's like, boys, let's get this thing fucking locked and loaded here so we're ready to go.
Yeah, I think right now is just focusing on practices, making sure we're our best every single day, because next thing you know, we're playing Augustana in 2 weeks, and we want to hit the ground running. Like, you guys know how important it is those first couple weekends, the non-conference games, and how much that means for the pairwise. If you're not ready for those games, those really good teams are going to knock you off, and then that comes and bites you when you're trying to make the tournament. So we just want to be hitting the ground running, just playing our best hockey, and that can put you in a really good spot heading into conference play. So just making sure we're dialed and focused every day. Like, we're not taking a day for granted here, and just making sure we're ready for those big non-conference games at the start of the year.
And I wanted to ask you, and just kind of segueing on top of that, you being a leader, obviously a two-time assistant captain there, a big part of the team, not only on the ice but off the ice, Malt, is how are the freshmen doing? How are those boys doing? Again, you got to bring them back down to life at the same time. Make sure, you got to earn your stripes here. But at the same time, it's about getting them acclimated into the team, feeling a part of it. So again, they're ready for takeoff once week one starts, because as you know, then it just starts rolling. So how are those guys doing? Are you bringing them back down to life? Are you fucking up the weight room a little bit, making them clean it up? Nothing too crazy, but just little subtle things here and there.
Yeah, it's kind of that balance. It's like you want to be as nice as you can to them, make them feel a part of the team, which they obviously are, and they're going to be huge keys for us. They're going to have to play some big minutes, especially our defense, when we kind of have a younger team. But like, we just have such great leaders on our team. Just Louis as the captain, our assistant captains, all those guys, and like Dave Montgomery, Caleb Johnson. Like, they might not have letters, but just good Grand Forks guys that can really show these younger guys what it's like to be here. They've been around it forever, and they're just great kids. Like, I still remember when I came in as a freshman, these seniors were kind of tough on me, but at the same time, it's like, I get it. Like, it's the process, and you almost got to appreciate that and just look at it like you're getting tougher because of it, because you got to be tough to play here, which these guys are. And they're going to be ready. They're great guys, and they work super hard.
Yeah. You don't have to mention any names, but it was always like, there's always a couple freshmen who come in and they're just comfortable, and they don't realize, that they're kind of a part of something that is a lot bigger than they are personally. Are all these freshmen kind of, do you think they're trying to earn their stripes? You got a couple guys that are sending too many messages into the group chat and bothering the old vets sometimes on the weekends? I know I'll actually drop Cameron's name. Cam Johnson came in. I mean, the guy wouldn't stop talking in the group chat, and all the older guys were like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Like, what? Who's this number? Who's this number? Shut the hell up!"
Do you remember when he fired like 6 or 7 messages off? Nobody said anything, and I said, "Who the fuck is 248? Shut the fuck up!" It was his area code 248.
Oh yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, you guys got any freshmen just a little too happy in the group chat or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a couple of them came in pretty hot, like talking in the locker room, like you guys said, talking in the group chat, and then we just try to bring them back to the real world. And hey, like, you're gonna have to earn it here to send in the funny text that you think is funny, but also, like, if you send in the text, you better not miss. Like, you better be funny. If it's a miss, then you lost your privilege for a couple months. So, but it's been great. Like, these guys are great.
And just like, you've been around it forever. You've seen obviously myself and Nick go through it, but I just think something cool for the listeners. Even you saw Sioux hockey from by the time. How old were you when you first came and stayed with me? remember when I was living at the Antill my sophomore year? How old were you when you were around the boys? Was it like 12 or 13?
Yeah, I was probably 12, 13 when I came up for a week and got some training in.
So it was, I mean, dude, you were around the day in the life of what North Dakota hockey is. You saw it firsthand. We'll leave it at that. And, not only did you get to be around the boys, the coaching staff, the facilities, and just what it's like to be a North Dakota hockey player. And that's why I think it's so cool that, you're in a role you are in now. But is that something, when you're a leader of this team, not only you can kind of take to what you know now or just seeing it from an early age? Because I think, at least for me, those experiences and just kind of seeing it at such a young age, it's similar to seeing it as a guy, that their dad played in the NHL or something like that, but this is at the college level. So is that something that you can kind of take away, and use?
Yeah, I think that's, like I said too, like a lot of the leaders on our team, like Kunze, Daner, Cheese, like these guys all grew up watching it. I grew up watching it. Like it means so much to a lot of people. I think sometimes you can get caught up in your bubble and it might not seem like, oh, you're having tough days. It might seem things are hard, but things actually aren't that hard. Like it's a great place to play, and it means so much to so many people in this community. So even when the tough times hit, like you just got to remember you're playing for something bigger than yourself. You're playing for the state, and that's a pretty cool thing. And I think guys that might not be from here, they realize it really quick once the season gets started.
Yeah. Hey, Malt, you're going to stay down on floor 2. Chiswick, who's on Dry Island right now, he's going to take care of you. And if you need anything, I'm a phone call or a text away. I'm up top. I'm in a Hawaiian T-shirt right now. And again, we're going to leave it at that. But yeah, those days were just all time. And from a young age, Malt you just bleed green, man. So that's a cool thing about you. And I just think that it's so valuable for guys not only there, but coming in. So, Malt, how about the Ironman? We've talked about it over the summers, over the years, and I like to have a little bit of a pulse on the team, and so does Ozzo. But it seems like the Ironman has changed over the years. It might not be as strenuous as before. I'm starting to call it the Tin Man, maybe. Like, is it even the Ironman with some of these events being replaced? So I wanted to ask you, how did the Ironman go this year, and who took home the belt for the year for the fellas?
Yeah, Ben Strinden is the repeat champ. It's tough to say. He likes to bring it up, that's for sure, which I would too if I went back to back. But yeah, like they got rid of the 300s, they got rid of the sled dogs, which were 2 hard events, but they got like we do a bike test now, which is like the VO2. It's like 3 minutes as hard as you can go and kind of tracks your VO2 level. And then 4x4s, which you guys know, like they haven't got rid of that, which that one's always a bad. And then we brought back the mile too, so we've been doing that too.
How was the mile? How'd you do? What were you, low fives?
I was like 5:30, but it was actually a little harder because we had to run it inside at the HPC. Oh, so it's like 5.5 laps. You're just constantly turning.
Yeah.
So it's like that was more of a mental battle than the 4 because you're like, oh my God, I'm only on lap 1.5 and I'm already feeling it. Like that was a grind, but it's also too, which is kind of funny. We had a couple freshmen that started on the inside and they just took off to start the mile. Like, I don't know if they've ran a mile before, but they just took off so fast and everyone just naturally follows. We came out way too hot. I was like, we got to slow down a little bit here. We're not going to make it.
Man. That's the tough part about the mile, though. You got to like pace yourself, and you don't know what that pace is because you don't really run a mile as fast as you can very often. Yeah, that's that mile sucked. Did you have to? I know you have to get under 6 minutes. That's kind of Pooley's rule. Did you have to carry anyone across the finish line or get them going because they were about to miss out on that 6 minute mark?
Yeah, we had like 2 guys that finished right around that 5:58, 5:59 range. We're like, I wasn't running with them because I was laying on the ground with looking at the sky. But a few guys that were still able to run, they were running with them and getting them going, so they got under 6.
We were when I was back home, just after you left, I skated with Tony the Hercus Circus, UND legend, obviously friend of the show over here at Live and 5. And Ozzo, I was asking him because Herc ran track back in Thunder Bay in high school, and I want to say his best time at UND, he told me, was 4 minutes and 8 seconds, and he made sure to say that he was hungover for it. But he also said that he used to be under 4 minutes when he would run it in high school. Like, that is impressive. Like
That
that,
is
like he was like just under what's the world record for the mile? Is it like 340 or something?
340 something, I think.
Yeah, so I think he was just like 359 somewhere in there, like just like unbelievable. Like what a freak athlete.
That's iron lungs, baby. I mean, you can't teach that.
No, that's straight out of Thunder Bay. What a beauty he is too. So shout out to Herc. Malt, I wanted to ask you, there's always a highlight of the preseason, whether it's back in the day with us, it was always a fight or something. It would always be like LJ and Tomer, or two guys that live together. They just drop them and start chucking. It seemed like every year there was a fight where guys, if you're playing 3-on-3, it's like, oh my God, this is our 13th 2-on-2 battle of the day. Like, all right, we're just got to throw it just to get out of this thing. Or is it maybe a Dane Jackson quote, or some freshie making a stupid comment, or maybe a little PDA at a party? Like, what's been like the one thing that's kind of stood out in terms of a highlight of the preseason so far that's been a funny moment or kind of a coming together moment, something that you've taken with you so far that the boys are maybe laughing at?
Yeah, I think our first weekend, I'll think of our first weekend. We had a really good time just getting together. And like you said, PDA, there was some PDA that had to get addressed for some of the young guys, but we took care of that. And then honestly, just like, I love when we go on the fishing trip, like we go up to Lake of the Woods, we get to go walleye fishing and kind of just have the night to ourselves. We'd like have a big bonfire, stay up pretty late, but that's always some of my favorite stuff. It's like, there's no girls around or anything, or no coaches really. It's just kind of the guys being guys, and just that's when everyone's telling stories, some embarrassing stories, which you might not want to tell, but you got to tell it because you get picked on to speak up. But it's great. Like the fishing trip's always my favorite, and that's something they should keep doing for a while because it's a great time.
Oh, sitting by the campfire, hanging out, roasting some mallows. You always usually have like one of the trainers or Swanee with you, and you get to hang out with the boys after a long day of fishing. Like that cabin trip is just all time. That's like where you really get to get to know, different sides of, especially the underclassmen, and you can kind of pull a guy aside, or you're sitting by the campfire like, wow, I didn't know you had that story. Yeah. Like you're actually kind of a beauty. Like I'll shake your hand now. So
that is what happens though. You some of those freshmen, you're like, I hate this guy's a loser. And then you end up talking to him and you're like, guys, kind of actually beauty, you might fit in here.
100%. Well, I wanted to get back to a little bit of hockey talk with you. I mean, I guess it's a two-part question. I wanted to ask you, who you've been skating a little bit alongside. Maybe there's been a bunch of different combinations, but obviously you play in center ice. Maybe a few guys that you've been skating with that have been gelling a little bit with, and then also maybe one guy that's kind of impressed early on in preseason, whether it's a veteran making a step or a rookie coming in. Like, give us a name there too, as well as Sioux fans to kind of keen in on, as we get going into October here.
Yeah, I wish I could give you a good scoop on kind of the lines and everything, but I don't know if they did it when you guys were there, but it bounces around every day. Like I'm left wing some days, center some days. Just no one really has a spot yet, which I love because you got to earn it, and it's just nothing's going to be given. It's kind of based on your practices and how you're at in the preseason, and that was going to determine where you're at. So I wish I could give you the scoop, but I don't got it yet. But I'd say a guy that's impressed me is Jackson Coons. Like I got to see him in juniors at Green Bay for the full year, and he was a stud. And I know his first 2 years he was kind of just finding his way, and then last year he got put in a really good position where he could succeed and play his offensive role because he's a big guy that can finish. And I think he's going to have a monster year. He's a big guy and he has sick hands around the net, and that's my guy. He's going to have a great year.
Love that.
Yeah, I like that too. I like hearing the Grand Forks, but I've always thought, his first 2 years, it's tough to stick with it, especially when you have the skill and talent level to be in the lineup every night, but you're at a school like North Dakota where the guys on the bench or that are healthy scratched also have enough skill to be in the lineup every night. So you do have to find your way and get put in that right spot. But I am excited to watch Coonsey because he is a guy I feel like does have that ability. And I feel like he's just been waiting to break out of that cage for a little while now.
He's the best, man. Like that's what's cool too. Like you see some of these guys just stick it out and then they have great senior years, great junior years. And you just got to respect that now, especially with the transfer portal. Like you can kind of jump ship early, and I'm always going to respect a guy who sticks it out and then grinds away, and then his time finally comes and he's ready for it. So I'm
For
pumped
sure.
You got the warm-up tunes picked out yet, Malt? You got a little Kodak Black coming through. You got a little Creed Higher. Like, what are we going in terms of, you got a big influence on what's getting played in the locker room. So is there one song that is like a staple in warm-ups that when I come to the Ralph and I'm watching you snap a tape to tape before the game, is it like, oh, okay, I remember Malt told me that in middle of September. That's a banger, eh?
Yeah, I think we're thinking Friday might be a little more rap, like My Dog by 21 Savage might have to be in there. And then I know you're kind of hitting that Skrilla by Kodak Black. We might have to throw that in there.
Oh,
and then Saturdays, it's got to be like rock, like
yep.
AC/DC. That's strictly business on Saturday. So,
dude,
like
there's one tune that I love AC/DC, as you know. It's one of my all-time favorite bands, top 3. But the one tune, like all these songs just come back to me, and I play them like just on repeat whenever I hear it. And it's "Are You Ready?" And Brian Johnson. Like I was watching a live concert. I don't know if it was in England or somewhere overseas, and he just comes out. And he says, "Are you ready? Are you ready for a good time?" Like that song might have to be in there because it's such a banger. I mean, I'm 6 to midnight when I'm hearing that. I'm like, let's fucking go. I'll run through a wall right now. So,
Multi, we're talking music here. Any chance you guys are still playing Lightning Crashes after the pregame skate? Is that when we used to play it, Jordo?
yeah, Bubba would come in. It's a song by the band called Live, and it's Lightning Crashes. Great tune.
Crash. Oh,
yeah.
I wonder when they got away from that. We used to play that after every pregame skate, and that song would play, and everyone kind of shut up and just listen to it, and it just gets you in the mood for a game. It's like, fuck, we got game day, boys. It's here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to try. You have to put that one in the locker room, Malt, on, and just see how it is. It's like a post-morning skate tune, just like sets the vibe. It's like quiet, and then it gets going, and then it's a banger. It's good.
Yeah. Post-morning skate. I'm trying to think. We're typically like Red Hot Chili Peppers, like that kind of vibe. But hey, we're always open for some new tunes. I love it.
Love it, Malt. I had some Forks one hitters for you, so it's kind of just like either or. So I'm gonna rattle them at you, and then you're gonna give me the answer. Okay?
Let's do it.
So the first one: Darcy's or Northside for breakfast?
Darcy's.
Love that. Pepper or Junction? Now I know Junction's not there, but it used to be when we were there. So Pepper or Junction?
I know, like this might be off script, but I'm going junk for that.
Wow, I know you were going to say
like
that.
that.
That is a crazy answer. Okay, so we have a Junction guy. That's one of the staples we always throw out there, like when we're hungover or whatever, like Pepper or Junction right now. And it's like half the group. I would say 60, maybe 70, 30s Pepper, but there are the Junction guys. So I think you guys both fall in that category. Number 3, I have Bun or Drum?
Bun.
Fat Alberts or Parrots K?
Ooh. Probably I gotta say Fat Alberts, but Paris K, their wings is top notch.
Yeah, pack the fact and Pepto too. Jesus.
Yeah.
Number 5, Malt, for a burger, JL Beers or Speedway?
JL Beers.
Like it. And then the last one, I want you to answer, and then I want Ozzy to answer. CBS or Dot Line?
CBS.
CBS.
Kajula, Bess, or
CBS
Schmaltz?
or Dot Line. I mean, so I gotta go CBS.
They won, right?
Yeah, like
You got to give it to the winners.
highlight reel's decent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How about you, Oz?
I'd say I got to go CBS too in college, but yeah, I mean, you got the Hobie Baker winner and then 2 cup winners on the Dot Line. They just couldn't. They didn't get it done though, Jordan. You got to go CBS every time.
It's crazy to say that I'm a CBS guy on that. So Kajula, for me, I mean, Duncan won the Hobie Baker, but Kajula, obviously better NHL career. Duncan, amazing player. Never take anything away from Ryan Duncan. He was unbelievable. Johnny Tay's 3 mugs. He's won a Selke. He's won he's won a Conn Smythe. That's the playoff
Pretty
MVP. And 1,000 games, almost 1,000 points. TJ Oshie, 1,000 games, mug winner. Like, I don't know. I mean, but before it's all said and done, too, I mean, Besser, if he keeps tucking at 30 or 40, and Nicky Schmaltz, they both win a cup, and he's a point a game guy. Now I think even at the pro level, you might have an argument for the Dot too, or sorry, the CBS.
For sure.
So,
it's close.
Yeah, it is. I just think from a electric factor, man, it's tough to bet against the CBS how fucking good they were, and they got it done.
They got it done, and they had like 2 highlight reel goals every night.
Yep.
It wasn't like once a weekend. I was like, you're getting 2 out of them every night, or else fuck, we're losing probably.
100%. And Malt, I wanted to get into, we've talked hockey, we've talked, the lead up. Obviously, you train your ass off. You fucking skating 6 times a day in the off season and working out and doing what you need to do. And you've put on a lot of muscle, this and that. But I just wanted to get into some summer highlights a little bit of as we kind of wind down summer. We're getting into hockey mode, but just you got to enjoy the fruits of life. So what was a couple of things during the summer that kind of stood out to you in terms of having fun with the fam or buddies? Just give the people a little intel on that.
Yeah, I'd say when I'm back home, probably favorite thing to do is get on the lake, wake surf, or go fishing, as you know. But I'd say the highlight every summer is that baseball trip we go on. That just can't be beat. I know we had a great time this year, but when I get to go back home and just kind of relax and get away from hockey and everything and get on the lake, that's kind of where I'm at my happiest, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean that baseball trip, we've talked about it a ton on here, and I keep, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or keep talking about that trip, but that trip is so legendary. That night in Cleveland too, when it was Thursday night, Oz, it was ladies' night, right? And I'm getting back from a one-night professional tryout over there, and I'm like, Malt, what time's the bus leaving? He goes, 10 minutes. I go, perfect. I'm just getting home. It's 9 in the morning. It's like, holy fuck. All right. And then I'm sitting on that jailhouse rock fucking, just the jailhouse shuttle we're on, because we don't even have a Sprinter van. We got the jail bone rattler, I was calling it. I'm sitting in the seat that I had named a paralyzer at the time, because you sit in it and it just paralyzes your whole body. You're like pressed up against a wall. There's nowhere to put your legs. You can't get comfortable. You're hitting seems like in that spot, every bump you hit your head on the top. Now you're in concussion protocol. It's just so funny. So I went from a 9 a.m. shift, got an acai smoothie with the significant other that I met in Cleveland, right into the paralyzer. I was like,
you went smoothie bowl in the morning? That's unreal. I didn't know that.
I get back to the room to check out my shit. Oh, yeah, she took me there, and then she dropped me off. Nice girl. And then I get back to the room. Nick rolls over. He goes, what time did you get up? I go, I haven't gone to sleep yet.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Sometimes those trips are a little easier hungover, though, because you're like, fuck, I don't care. If you're sober, you're like, this trip sucks, but you're hung, you're just like, fuck it.
Oh, my
God. We roll over. I don't care.
Oh my God. Then we were hitting every fucking hot dog stand known to man too. And we stop in Warren, Ohio, which is halfway from Pittsburgh, from Cleveland, the Mistake on the Lake. And we pull into this place and I'm like, oh, are we seriously sitting down at a hot dog joint right now in this bumfuck town? Like, I can't even see straight. What do you want, Jordan? Well, I don't want a chili dog because I can't trust a fart right now. So anything I put in my stomach is going to go sideways.
That's hilarious. And what's funny too is after we had that and we finally get to Pittsburgh, we're like, all right, we're gonna go out and try to get a real meal before the baseball game. They're like, what should we get? There's this place right across from the hotel that sells steak on a rock. We went and ate steak on a rock. So like no one was eating the whole day.
We got that place we went in for a steak on the rock at 2 p.m. And then they're like, all the older guys are like passing around like nachos and wings. I'm like, man, like, can't we just eat something normal here?
Boy, wait, what is a steak? So they're actually serving steak up on like a piece of granite or what?
Yeah, it was like a hot rock. So you put your steak, it comes out like Pittsburgh blue, and then you cook it yourself on a rock, and it's just fuming in your face like fajitas from Chili's, just right in your jaw. Oh man, it was so funny. It was hilarious. Steak on a rock, like that's the last thing my barrel needs right now. Oh, Nick's sitting there, he's just disgusted. He's like, am I really getting a steak on a rock? And then Malt, we got the surf and turf. We got the shrimp with it.
Shrimp. It was so bad.
It was so bad.
That's on you guys, though. Weren't you supposed to cook it up? It might be on you guys.
Oh, put a little shrimp on the bobby. Yeah, that was not perfect, but that trip is all time. And my God. Lastly, my last one, I don't know what you got for Mazo. I just wanted to give your uncle just an all-time beauty. Clint Borby, a shout out. Ozzo, when we get up there, Clint, as you know, good man, hell of a chin, Sioux fan, lives in Larimore, North Dakota. I consider him an uncle. I've worked with him. He's awesome. Just a longtime buddy, one of my favorites. My partner put in a new bar up there at his place in his shed called Dollar Bills, and that place, Malt. You did the dry opening there in August, just in terms of went and checked out the spot. It looks pretty sick. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, like shout out Clint. He's the man. He doesn't do anything halfway. So that place is decked out. He's got his cars in there. He's got the Lincoln Continental right next to the karaoke machine, and you should see this karaoke machine. Like, we're talking fog lights. He's got big iPad right in the front, like 3 different mics, and he's just the man. It's pretty cool when you can get out there and check it out.
We're gonna have to rip a pod from there, Ozzo, because it's that the setup is that cool. But how about that car though? Touch on that. The Lincoln Continental with the Arthur plates on it, and Ozzo, he got the Caddyshack horn installed in it. Malt earlier this summer was driving that thing down University, just honking at a bunch of people. Like, the thing is so sick.
That was great. He let me take it for a week there in the summer, and I mean, there's no air conditioning, so it was so hot in there, and the seats are these big, comfortable, like carpet seats, so it gets so hot in there. But it was funny. Like you said, I was taking it down to University, and it was actually when they were doing like the tour, people were showing all these new people like what UND is like and all the buildings and stuff. And I was just going right down the middle, just blaring that loud ass horn. It was so funny. And what's funny too is like sometimes when it doesn't start, you got to just pump the gas to get it going. So I just had to talk to Arthur a few times, but that car is unreal.
Man, that's so funny. Just blaring down University as the new kids are getting a tour of the campus.
Some of those kids had to have committed on the spot. Just committed as students. Oh, yeah, this is where I'm coming.
I love that. I love it.
Malty, I wanted to ask, just for the listeners' sake, I guess, and for myself. So you saw the old locker room with what me and Jordo had, I guess, and it was pretty much everything we needed. But now you guys got this extra stuff: the altitude room, the shooting room, the gym's bigger. You got a smoothie station. You've got the cryo chambers. You've got the nap stations, the massage chairs. So I wanted to ask, what part of the new locker room would you not be able to live without nowadays? I guess, are you utilizing the most out of that new stuff that you guys have?
Yeah, I'd say the altitude room and the smoothie station, like, it's just so easy to go in there and just get extra work in that altitude room. Like, and it makes such a difference. Like, if you're doing conditioning, when you're doing it in altitude room versus out, it's like, it's crazy. Like, the difference on your lungs, how it feels so difficult. And then the smoothie station too, like it's so National League, like it's everything's always frozen. It's right there for you. Like I'm so used to it right now. I don't think I can live without that.
That's unreal.
Yeah, all that shit's unreal. I was thinking, honestly, for Sundays as a freshman, you go sit in those massage chairs and watch football on the big screens and just sit there hung. Oh, it'd be unbelievable.
Yeah, we remember last year, boys. We had the best locker room tour that's never going to be released, and it was unreal when we got that tour. That place was sick. But Malt, you're going to have to give a guy, a dear friend of yours, and I've got to know him over the years, and Caleb Cheddar is always better Johnson. We're always exchanging messages about our elliptical times. I was sending my bike scores, and so when you see Cheese, please let him know I say hi. He's a good man. And Malt, hell of a season coming up for you. I'm excited. I'll be up there for the BU weekend. I think Ozzo as well. I think maybe even Ozzo will be up there for the alumni weekend, which is against Providence, the one game there. So can't wait to watch you, fella. You know what? Thanks for coming on again, as always. Reoccurring guest over here. But I can't wait to watch your year, man. Big year. And you're going to fucking crush it. So thanks for popping on, fella.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Love the show and love you boys. So thanks for having me.
Folks. Yep. Thanks, Malt. That was senior forward number 8, Jake Schmaltz from the University of North Dakota. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. That was Live in 5 Fala.
Money. You ain't talking money, I don't need. What, be quiet. You ain't gotta touch my